Hello and welcome to the Evercade Retreat. My name is Gene Jake and today I'm ranking all the games from the Gaelco Arcade Collection Volume 1. These are games I've never heard of before getting an Evercade, and you'd think I've never played any of them, but I'm pretty sure I did play World Rally as a kid. Well, young teenager, whatever, and I think it was in some dark dingy bar. I remember the visuals, I remember playing it and not doing very well, but I'm pretty sure I played it back then. Not that it's really important, but that's the most nostalgia I have here. Starting with my least favourite on the collection, that'll be Snowboard Championship. It's an isometric snowboarding game, and it's perfectly fine. It's just not really my jam. Controls and movement are absolutely fine, although I don't really like the whole snowboarding down the screen. Just something just doesn't work for me. My coordination goes off. I like to be going up the screen, which would make sense for snowboarding. So this is a game that doesn't gel with me, but it's perfectly fine. Next we have World Rally, which much like the previous game is an isometric racer. This time you're going up the screen, so that suits me much better, which is why it's higher on this list. I think also cars is probably a bit more my jam than snowboarding, but even so, it's low on this list, not because it's a bad game, and I'm sure many people would have it higher, because it is a good arcade racer. But I've always preferred my racing games from behind, like Outrun, or Chase HQ, or I've preferred them to be 3D. So yeah, it's a good game, not quite my jam, because I've never been a huge racing game person anyway. So it's low on my list, genuinely good game. No complaints, just, I prefer the other games. And next up is Glass, a top-down, single-screen, multi-directional shoot-'em-up. And yeah, it's perfectly fine. I think originally I would have ranked this lower. However, when I went back to it to really give it a chance to, to play through it essentially, I found myself enjoying it more than I had on an initial impression. Clearing the screens of enemies is quite fun. You've got some pretty cool bosses, quite big and tough. There's a bit of a challenge to it in places as well. I mean, it's not ridiculously hard or anything like that, but yeah, I've had some fun with this one. I'd come back to it every so often just to have a quick blast. Next up we have Thunderhoop, a 2D platform run and gun. It plays a lot like Toki actually. Visually, it's very Amiga and European-like, however it's almost like a European take on doing an anime style. The character looks like an uglier younger brother of the dude from Dragon Ball Z. It controls well, you shoot in multiple directions, everything's smooth and responsive. The downside is the level design. Certainly in the early levels, well even later on as well. Characters will spawn, giving you very little time to react. I suppose in an attempt to make it arcade hard, which if I wasn't playing on an Evercade with free credits and save states, I'd probably got frustrated with it. But you can mitigate that difficulty. And also it seems more difficult in the early levels than later levels. So if you do find it frustrating to play at first, persevere a bit. Next we have Alligator Hunt, a third-person shooter. Well, I suppose it's a third-person shooter. You have a character at the bottom of the screen and you move that around to dodge enemy fire. You also move your crosshair to aim at enemies, and you've got your regular shots and you've got missiles. You start off as a dude on a skateboard because 90s, and then you get in a spaceship and the rest of the game is within the spaceship. It's a good fun action blast, very arcadey, good quality music, although I do find it it's distinct but a little bit, I wouldn't say irritating, I don't know, I find it a bit grinds after a while, but yeah, that's a minor complaint. Visually it's very nice, and yeah, you can just have a good fun blast with it. Next we have what I consider to be the best game on the collection, and that is Biomechanical Toy. As you can see, it's a run and gun where you're fighting through essentially like a Toy Town, Alice in Wonderland style thing. Not all the levels are the same, they have different themes, but it is bright and colourful, and like Thunderhoop, it has a very sort of Amiga style to it. In fact, it shares a bit of other DNA with Thunderhoop as well, because unlike most run and gun games, you can jump on the enemies, and yeah, I wouldn't be entirely surprised if it turned out this was originally going to be a sequel to Thunderhoop. Probably not, there's just some vague similarities, but this is much more run and gun, pure blasting action. It's fast and frantic, chaotic and just over the top in every way. It's a really good fun action game, what more can I say? Looking at Gaelco Arcade Collection 1 as a whole, I don't think there's a bad game here. While your tastes and preferences may vary, some games you might just not like, but I don't think you can say that any of them are bad looking, have horrendous music, or don't play well. They all do what they're supposed to do. While I don't think any quite hit the high marks of the legendary arcade games by the big publishers, they come close. Well, fairly close. You've got 6 solid games here, there's a reasonable amount of variety, and you can definitely have a lot of fun with it. Overall, I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
Shadows creep, Dr. Janeway's plans secrets to keep. Unleashing chaos, creatures run wild. Thunder Hoop awakens a superpower child. Thunder Hoop, he throws Dr. Jen Brick for a loop, fighting through the madness with all his might. Thunder Hoop, he throws Dr. Jen Brick for a loop. In a world of danger, he's never scared. Jen Brick's creations, spreading fear. Thunder Hoop steps up, the end is near. Jumping through the platforms, fists of light, battling the mutants in the dead of night. Thunder Hoop, he throws Dr. Jen Brick for a loop, fighting through the madness with all his might. Thunder Hoop, he throws Dr. Jen Brick for a loop. In a world of danger, he's never scared. Jen Brick's creations, spreading fear. Thunder Hoop steps up, the end is near. Jumping through the platforms, fists of light, battling the mutants in the dead of night. Thunder Hoop, he throws Dr. Jen Brick for a loop, fighting through the madness with all his might. Thunder Hoop, he throws Dr. Jen Brick for a loop. In a world of danger, he's never scared. From the lab he escapes, to the streets he roams. Thunder Hoop's the name in every home. With strength and speed and a heart so true, he fights for justice for me and you. So when the night is dark and hope seems thin, remember Thunder Hoop, the fight within. With every leap and punch, he stands tall. Thunder Hoop, our hero, answering the call.